Hey everyone, welcome to the MONG podcast about 20 minutes in because something was wrong with OBS. So, we're not going to start over because that's 20 minutes. But we're going to go ahead and start with this news story and move on from here. Thank you very much, chat, for pointing that out, Lord Jesus Trust. Anyway,
thanks, Jesus.
We're going to move on to the next news story so they're not getting half of a conversation.
Sure.
I brought the technical difficulties with me. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. That was my bad from something I was doing earlier.
Speaking of other things that were faced with technical difficulties, the theme park Westworld, who one of the writers, it turns out, co-wrote The Last of Us Part 2. Haley Gross, a credited writer on 2 episodes of Westworld's first season, have been revealed as Neil Druckmann's co-writer for The Last of Us Part 2. Druckmann announced Gross's involvement in the game over the weekend on Twitter after the game was revealed earlier this weekend at PlayStation Experience 2016. Gross co-wrote the 6th and 7th episode of Westworld's inaugural season, The Adversary and Trompe d'Oeil. Haley's my kick-ass co-write. Can't wait to share more of the story with y'all. Spoiler alert, it's intense, Druckmann wrote in response to a tweet from Gross. Druckmann is excited as the writer of the first Last of Us. Druckmann spoke to the intense story over the weekend during the Last of Us Part 2 panel, calling it complimentary to the first game. He described it first as the first is a story about love, while Part 2 is a story about hate. Ellie will also be the star of the game this time around. And then a bunch of information about Last of Us Part 2. First of all, have either of you guys watched any of Westworld yet?
Unfortunately not.
Nope.
Fantastic. Best thing on TV right now. So it's really exciting that one of these writers is involved in the game. It obviously shows that they're taking this story very seriously. Mm-hmm. It's also a continuation of video games becoming an entertainment medium equal to its older brothers and sisters.
Yeah. Now, have you seen those 2 episodes? Do you remember them well or not?
I could probably try to see if I could look them up if you...
Well, I was just going to ask, I guess, I know writers, of course, can write in many different tones depending on what the piece is about, but I was wondering, if you thought that the writing of those episodes could tell us anything about what Last of Us 2 might entail beyond the story of hatred that we already know.
Yeah, I'm looking here. Give me just a sec.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to talk and make noises until Adam has read the synopsis. Chris, say something random.
Something random?
All right, this is the best podcast we've ever done.
Well, I can tell you that Adversary had a focus on what turned out to be a fairly strong female character that's seeking revenge against being placed into an unfair situation. That could very well be applied to perhaps Ellie's story of hate.
That sounds like something that could literally be lifted and just copy pasted over. Not saying that is a bad thing. I'm just saying.
I'm looking at the other episode. The other episode had a holy shit twist to it. I can't really say anything. But, perhaps it could be an indication that we might be getting a story that will keep us guessing until the very end, perhaps.
Is Joel actually dead? Is he alive? Who knows?
Is he a robot?
I doubt that one.
But what if he is?
I feel like a lot of people will be very unhappy.
Or will they?
I don't know. I guess people who aren't a fan of the actual game will be like, oh, this is interesting, and everyone else will just be like, I'm disappointed in you, Neil Druckmann. But let's move on.
It actually turns out that Last of Us 2 is Detroit becoming human.
No, let's not. I'm sure both of these games will be wonderful, but I don't think they should ever mix. I don't know how to come up with a segue for that one. So, hey, Chris, what's your first story?
Oh, okay. Well, this is coming from gadgets.ntv.com. And it turns out PlayStation VR might be the most valuable VR headset because of how many other devices it works with. Because, let's see, I'll just read here. An enterprising company by the name of Trinus VR has made it possible to use PlayStation VR with Steam. By releasing a set of drivers, it is now possible to use Steam VR on a Windows PC. There is a catch. Any game that requires motion controllers, like the HTC Vive controllers, PlayStation VR won't work with those. Mm-hmm. But any game where you could potentially assign mouse movement to the VR's head tracking will actually work, which still seems like it's pretty nice functionality. If you Google it, you can find the drivers. You, of course, do have to have a graphics card that's still capable of handling VR, which I don't think I do, unfortunately. But it turns out the PlayStation VR has way more functionality than people would have thought, because you can also use it on Xbox One and Wii U. Not for the head tracking on those, but you can get the image to the headset and basically play everything on those consoles in theater mode. Huh. Which, if you spent $400 on the headset and you need reasons to justify it, there you go.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. I don't own any of the headsets, but if I really wanted one and I could only have one, I guess this would kind of help influence my decision, knowing that at least I can theater mode on everything.
Yeah, I'm trying very hard to get a PlayStation VR before Resident Evil 7 comes out. I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, you could steal one.
Even there, I'm not having luck. Nobody around here is carrying them anymore. They're just selling out that quick. Hmm. Or there's some artificial demand going on. I don't know.
Could be. Adam, what does this mean to you as a PlayStation VR owner?
Absolutely nothing, because I have like a PlayStation to play it on.
But would you like to try using your PlayStation VR with your Xbox One
though? Not really, because like, why would I want to play a game in like zoomed up mode with like downgraded graphics?
These are very valid points, good sir.
Not to just cut to the thick of it, but yeah, there's just nothing really like that's telling me that I have to try that.
No, that's very valid. I mean, I had completely forgotten about the downgraded graphics thing, so I guess it's cool if you're like, is it nearsighted or farsighted? If you can't see the TV from a long distance, that would be farsighted?
Nearsighted.
Nearsighted, okay. My eyes. Never mind. So yeah, I guess if that's your problem, this would be a really cool thing. But if not, then it's like, why would I bother? It sounds like a lot of work for something that doesn't really matter.
I will say, I would totally be the dope who, after Resident Evil 7 is come and gone and there's nothing else in sight for me to play with my fancy VR headset, I would be the one strapping it on for Xbox One, being like, yep, I spent $400 on this. I'm getting my money's worth out of it.
Ooh, here's an idea. If the cords are long enough, you could plug it in and never mind. Well, like, you could like lie down on your side in bed and play games. It'd be really disorienting, but it's something you could do.
Huh.
I don't know if it'd be comfortable to lie down with a VR headset in bed.
Probably not, but I mean, I'm reaching. Or like, if you had a recliner, you could recline and play. And it's like, it's right there. It's like it's above. These aren't good ideas. No one should try this.
Actually, I own a recliner, and like, we were playing, it actually worked really good for some of the space games, so it really felt like you were like in a cockpit.
Now that sounds good. I would actually like to try that. Most of my draw to VR is like being able to pilot a mech. So whether that's in rigs or like anything else, I don't know.
Clearly, somebody needs to make a Zoids game in VR.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. Zoids were the best.
They were. I had so many of those model kits.
Yes, I had like everything but the Liger, but we're getting really off topic. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next story. How long are these stories? These are relatively short, and technically it's a short podcast right now, so We're just going to cover both of these Switch-related stories. So the first is that Nintendo Switch is to host GameCube titles via Virtual Console. And, of course, I said Gotcha Force in big letters because I love that game. Nintendo is planning to give more details about the Nintendo Switch console before it comes out by March of next year, but a new report may have divulged one particular bit. According to multiple sources, the Switch can play GameCube games via the Virtual Console service. Eurogamer has, quote-unquote, 3 separate sources that attest to this functionality. Moreover, 3 titles are already ready: Super Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, and Super Smash Bros. Melee. The GameCube's Animal Crossing is also a possibility, according to Eurogamer. The site also says that it is heard that there should be an update program whereby users will be able to upgrade versions of Virtual Console purchases for use on the Switch instead of having to buy these games again. Let's talk about this story relatively quickly and then move into the next one. This actually makes me a little excited. I know it's Nintendo just playing off of nostalgia, which is something I feel like they always do, but it's still really awesome, and the concept of them being like, you don't have to buy this stuff over again. We know everybody else makes you do that, but you can just upgrade it. That sounds really cool.
This piques my interest if this means I might be able to get to play Eternal Darkness on the Switch.
Yep.
Like Dream Scenarios that they released it. They released the GameCube version of Eternal Darkness. A bunch of people discover it and decide it's really cool, and then I finally get like a fancy new Eternal Darkness.
Yeah, I believe the Eternal Darkness IP and the stuff that goes along with that was renewed recently. So
Really?
there's got to be something in the works.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a remaster or just a re-release, or maybe a sequel, we could hope.
Maybe we're gonna finally get the Kojima Del Toro From Software like mashup I talked about many episodes ago on Eternal Darkness.
We can only hope.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like that would be one of those titles that everyone would be happy to see remastered, because I feel like it's a cult classic that I feel like there's a good chunk of interest in, but a lot of people missed it. So
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yep.
Like, I don't even care to play it, but I wouldn't mind seeing streamers get their hands on it in a more easily streamed fashion, you know. And beyond that, I'm hoping for Gotcha Force to come back, so I hope there's a swelling of support for that game, and then they make a Gotcha Force 2. Nintendo, there you go, that's an idea. You got at least one person to buy it. But yeah, we're going to move on to the other story, which is 3 things we learned about the Nintendo Switch on The Tonight Show. So yeah, the Tonight Show had I think Reggie Fils-Aimé was on. Yep, Reggie Fils-Aimé was on the Tonight Show. He brought a Switch with him. They messed around with it some. We're going to. Okay, first and foremost, we finally got a better view of the back of it. We already identified the cooling vents, and Nintendo showed off the slot for the game card and the 3.5mm audio jack on the right side of the device. We also see the kickstand again, but it's punch into. Okay, this was speedily written, I believe, so it's kind of messed up, but it's off to the right now, I think, and I don't remember how it wasn't before. There is a controller syncing button on the top of it. There's a power button on the top. There's the Joy-Con releases. We see how that works. In the October Switch reveal, blah, blah, blah. There's other things that are said. Presumably there's Z triggers, because that's Nintendo's thing for some reason. There's a USB-C port, which is probably for charging, I would assume. On the bottom of the Switch. And yeah, so it's not like super deep information, but it's still more than we knew. So what do y'all think about this? Talk while I read through this and see if there's anything else to pick out.
I am not going to obsess and nitpick until they just reveal the damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely playing the wait and see game with Switch. I was burned with the Wii and the Wii U, so I'm gonna wait for a bunch of reviews before and to see what titles come out for the first year before I even think about a Switch.
I read I think we were talking about this like last episode, and you might have been there during this, Chris, but I read this kind of joyous. I guess it's a rumor right now, but there's like some talk that From Software is doing like a Dark Souls trilogy for like the Switch.
Huh.
That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
You get to play the grueling game on the go.
I still say a Bloodborne with a Super Mario skin would sell systems.
Okay, yeah. So that's the big information, and I don't know, man. My body's ready. Reggie Fils-Aimé had it right. My body's ready. I wish I had a picture of him to put up in the empty slot right now, because that'd be great. But yeah, yeah. So I'm excited for it. I'm sure we'll see more about it, because for some reason they're not talking about it right now. If it comes out in March, it still doesn't make sense to me. But we are talking about the next story.
Speaking of things that don't make sense to me, Stories International has partnered with Circle of Confusion to produce adaptation of Sega's video games Altered Beast and Streets of Rage for film and television adaptation. Tomoya Suzuki, president and CEO of Stories International, will produce with Circle of Confusion partner Lawrence Mattis and Julian Roseberg. Evan J. Chofin, head of development and production, will executive produce the projects for Stories International, the production arm and joint venture of Sega Group and Hakahodo DY Group. Production management company of Circle Confusion produces Fear the Walking Dead, The Talking Dead, Powers, Outcast, and Dirk Gently. Its recent films have included Spare Parts, American Ultra, and Mr. Right, starring Sam Rockwell and Andrew Kendrick. Circle partner David Engel executive produced Straight Outta Compton. Stories is producing film and television projects based on Sega game franchises including Shinobi with Mark Platt, Golden Axe, Virtual Fighter, The House of the Dead, and Crazy Taxi. It said Monday that is in the process of partnering with major studios, producers, and filmmakers to co-develop adaptations of these properties as English language feature films and television series for the worldwide release. These are some of the most well-loved Sega games, and we are thrilled to be working with Stories to adapt them into major film and television franchises, it said. Did anybody ask for any of these? I'm like,
no.
I'm kind of excited because I am like deeply, deeply fascinated to see like what Altered Beast the movie looks like.
Yep.
Because you guys both played Altered Beast, right?
Vaguely, or a little bit, yeah.
Okay,
I'm actually not even sure what it is.
Oh, you don't even know what it is. Okay. All right, so Altered Beast is this game where you're like this dude who's dead, and some creepy god like basically resurrects you, and you wander around and you like eat these orbs that make you slightly more jacked and slightly more naked until you're like so jacked and so naked you can't be human anymore, and so you magically morph into some like angry like furry beast and like have to fight like horror themed bosses. That's basically the game in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's a pretty good synopsis.
I mean, in a world where a Deadpool movie was as successful as it was, that could be a hit if they do that premise and just put it on a big screen. But
I think it's gonna be like 90 minutes of like Channing Tatum no shirt, short shorts, stuff.
Sadly, that would make money too.
Yeah, that would make money.
But what is going on with Sega? I don't remember the last good game they made, let alone great. Good game they made, I do not remember. But one of the weirdest things I read recently was Tim Miller, director of Deadpool, is signed on for Sonic the Hedgehog the movie as a producer and guiding light. Like, what is going on with Sega right now? And how are they getting decent names from the film industry to do their stuff?
Exactly. And how did Tim Miller decide that was a good idea?
Well, just like look at some of these titles. Like, what is Crazy Taxi the movie?
Is it just gonna be Taxi? It's gonna take a really dark turn.
And there's already been like 4 House of the Dead movies,
and they were all bad.
And they were all terrible.
Yeah, I'm looking at this list, and it's like Fear the Walking Dead isn't very good. The Talking Dead is like that's a talk show, so it's how are they even putting this on there? Powers is good. I'll admit that. I enjoy Powers. No idea what Outcast is. I heard Dirk Gently was a cult classic or something. American Ultra was bad.
I actually enjoyed American Ultra, all right.
Okay, I heard it got bad reviews. All right. Was it not critically bad? But...
Apparently it was just totally mismarketed.
Oh, well, there you go. Mismarketed. But yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do here. I feel like Sega is... Maybe they're looking at the comic industry and they're like, hey, look at what they're doing. They're like resurrecting stuff by taking it to the big screen. Maybe we need to do that. Maybe that's what's going to save Sonic.
maybe Sega is just in a place where Marvel was in the 90s, where they're going under, the ship is sinking, and they're like, we need to sell all of our properties to movie studios as quickly as we can to sustain.
Yeah, I think they're doing whatever they can to desperately try to stay relevant.
Yeah. I mean, that Sonic Twitter account, that's pretty good. That's funny.
That's the best thing associated with Sega in the past 5 years. Which is sad.
What was the shot they took at The Last Guardian? Was it At Least It's Something? Or no, it was at Mighty Number 9. It was just a tweet that was really condescending and douchey, and it was like, how is Sonic saying this to anyone else right now?
I know.
I know. At least it's out or something.
Do any of these sound like they have any possibility of being like a good movie?
I think they all have a possibility of being like good drinking movies, of like something you just gather your friends around and just watch while at varying levels of inebriation.
Yeah, like I said, like I truly hope that Altered Beast is like this absolutely like insane, like what the fuck am I watching head trip.
It probably will be, and it probably won't be intentional, unfortunately. God knows.
Like Virtua Fighter? Like, when was the last time Virtua Fighter was, like, relevant?
They have to, like, look at the past and be like, see all of these fighting game movies and see how none of them are good. Like, Street Fighter wasn't good. Van Damme couldn't save that. The Dead or Alive movie, that was god-awful. I watched that as a joke, and I still didn't watch the majority of it. Mortal Kombat is... I love Mortal Kombat, but I can admit those movies aren't very good.
They're good only in the context of other video game movies.
Mm-hmm. And really only the first one.
Yeah.
Yes. Although the second one, I think I agree with Myles here. It is gloriously hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Annihilation's my favorite.
Yep. Same here.
Yeah, there's like somebody like going like, you know what the kids like today is that Game of Thrones. So you know what they're really gonna love? A Golden Axe movie.
You know what? My brother would actually probably like that. Golden Axe is still one of his favorite games of all time.
Oh, like Golden Axe was freaking cool. Like I played that when I was a kid, and that game was like a really neat game. But like once again, like how is that gonna translate to any kind of like movie that anybody cares about?
It's just gonna be all these remakes they keep making where it's like all they're using essentially is the visuals of the game, and it like in the case of like Jungle Story or Jungle Book, the re-release that came out, where it was like serious and kind of hardcore, and it was like this is not the Jungle Book I remember. I remember the most serious thing in Jungle Book was a rape snake, and that was it.
Yeah, if Uwe Boll was not currently retired, let's be honest, he would be attached to every single one of these train wrecks in the making.
Yeah, he would. I don't know how he kept getting work, honestly.
He had a tax workaround from his distribution from Germany, I believe, that just made it so no matter what, he always made profits on his movies. That's the only reason.
Jesus Christ just pointed something out that, yeah, Sega does still have some relevance. They do make Yakuza games, and while I haven't really played them, there are people that care about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know those were still being made.
Oh, yeah. They're up to 6, and then they have all the ones that aren't numbered. So I think 6
last one I knew about was a zombie one.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
I think we covered. Did we cover it last week? In fact, that they're making like there's like
Kiwami.
There's like no less than 2 Yakuza games coming out next year.
Yep.
Huh.
They're getting localized and everything, and the massive fan base they have for whatever reason is gonna not for every reason. They're probably good games. They probably are like Japanese GTA. I think that's a good comparison.
Yeah, I think that's seems fair.
Yeah, that's probably exactly why they're big.
They have one good series. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
That is a saying, yes. Maybe Sonic will come back one day, but that day is not today. But you know what is today? Our time to move on to our last story of the night. Chris, take us away.
Oh, I wasn't ready.
No one's ever ready.
Okay. This isn't great news unless you're a Star Fox fan or Pikmin, I guess. But yeah, this is from GameInformer.com. Speaking to journalist and host Katie Linendahl for her web series Katie.show, Nintendo's legendary Shigeru Miyamoto said he wished Fox McCloud and Pikmin were bigger hits, because no kidding. He's quoted as saying, "I always wanted Fox McCloud to be a bit more popular than he is, but I think one more would be Pikmin. When he was asked what games he would like to keep doing more of. So I guess Star Fox isn't completely dead, which I thought it would be after 0, because I seem to be the only person who liked that game.
Seems like... Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, it seems like Nintendo never lets their flagship franchises die.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing, but it's like, even when the game comes out and is getting dragged over the coals, they're like, yeah, we're going to never make another one of these. No, just put them in the back office for the next 2 years. We'll come out with another one in a few. So
yeah, that's true. And I was never much of a Pikmin fan, but I guess, I guess that's not done either. Did the last one not sell well or something?
The last one was Pikmin 2, right?
Was it? I thought there was a third one.
That's how bad it is. I don't even know how many.
Oh boy.
Let's go to Google.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you say use the word "sell well," and you have to keep that in context that it's on a Nintendo console. So
especially the Wii U.
Yeah.
If there is one on Wii U.
Pikmin. Okay, so
there definitely is one on Wii U.
There's a Pikmin 3D or a Pikmin 3 and a Pikmin 3DS apparently. Pikmin 3 was on the Wii U. Yes, it was. So that would explain why that one might not have done too well. And Pikmin 3DS is, of course, not actually a thing. Okay, it might not actually be a thing. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Pikmin's, like, again, a cult classic. A lot of people like that game, so
yeah.
I'm surprised that even came up.
People love the idea of Star Fox, but they don't seem to like the games as much as they think.
Yeah.
Like, 0 was basically a remake of Star Fox 64. They just put the gamepad's motion controllers onto it, and people didn't really like that very much. I thought they were okay, but they might have been better without them.
I think, honestly, I still have that feeling that I think the vast majority of games with motion controls are better without them, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Adam, you want to see new Star Fox?
Sure. I don't want it to go anywhere. I mean, like, it's kind of one of their beloved franchises. I don't know. Maybe, I wonder if part of the problem is there's just not as much space for that type of game anymore. Like this kind of on-rails shooter type game. Yep. I think maybe that's the problem right there. Maybe Star Fox needs to evolve into something else.
I'm in a vast minority here, I should say, but I wouldn't mind another Star Fox adventure. I liked the first one. That's a minority opinion, but I really liked the first one when I was a kid.
I'm not necessarily opposed to that in theory.
I think they need to do what Mega Man tried to do and make a turn-based RPG.
I think they did at one point on the original DS.
I'll take your word for it. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think that's a thing. I vaguely remember.
Well, there you go. There's a turn-based RPG for Star Fox. Go play it. It'll rekindle your love for the game.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a weird dream, but
that'd be a very strange dream. But let's go ahead and move on to the free stories section. The thing I still have yet to name. So the bless you. I think was that a sneeze? What happened?
That was cough. Sorry.
Cough. Okay. So the free stories this week were Ubisoft executives hit hard for insider trading. Don't do that. It's not cool. Witcher dev joins Dying Light team. Who knows what that's gonna make? Free weekend for Call of Duty Infinite. There you go. The top PSN titles of November were released by Sony. I don't know what they were. Go look at the thing. And the Evolve team is working on a new co-op fantasy FPS, so that's kind of cool. And that's the free stories of this week. Speedily read through as I'm trying to do every week. Since our Jordan, our Mr. Leffler is not here, we don't have a Reedus Feetus this week. So I'm just going to go ahead and do... Where's the Reedus Feetus? There he is, and now he's gone. So we're going to go ahead and move into the Thought from Nowhere. This is a very odd episode this week, especially since the first 20 minutes are not in the episode. So this question comes from our biggest fan, Lord Jesus Crust. He sent it in to the mong.podcast@gmail.com website where you can send in any of your thoughts from nowhere. So, hey, it's Jesus again. My question is there an intro or trailer that continues to make you hype about / to play a game, even though you've seen it a large amount of times? My current top 3 are, he lists the Persona 4 Arena trailer, Guilty Gear, Exarch, Revelator, and Persona 5 looks amazing. Gentlemen, what are you thinking? Are there any trailers that just get you goat every time?
Not trailers, but every Kingdom Hearts intro. Every time I think about them, I have to replay those games. Those intros are amazing. And, I'm going to count it. Kingsglaive is the best intro a game could have for Final Fantasy 15.
I think you're stretching there, Chris.
Nah. That's basically the intro to the game right there. 2 hours.
All right. We'll count it. Adam, you got anything?
Yeah, and I guess I'll say that 'cause this is kind of for an opposite reaction, but it's just like a great example of how to make an awesome trailer.
Mm-hmm.
The E3 trailer for Ubisoft's indie game Valiant Hearts: The Great War literally makes me tear up every time I watch it, and made me like absolutely have to play the game the second I watched it.
That was
go ahead.
No, I was just saying that was a strong trailer. I have a heart of coal, and it was like beating a little bit, just like, oh, that's really sad. I like dogs.
Like for those of you who haven't heard about it, Valiant Hearts was like an indie game that was released by Ubisoft. I guess it's not really indie. It was a smaller game released by Ubisoft. If you haven't played it, you should, because it's just amazing. It's a game that's set during World War I, but it's not like your typical like Call of Duty first-person shooter game. It's a game where you play as I believe it's like a trio. There might be 4 characters, and it's kind of like a puzzle, almost kind of like a puzzle type game, puzzle/platforming game.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of basically play as them and like kind of learn their stories as they try to get through World War I. It's also a game that's pretty high in education, trying to teach you, give you like facts about what it was like to be in World War I. It's a very emotional game. It was just like a completely different way to do a war game, which is really cool. And yeah, the trailers just kind of ripped your heart out.
Yeah. For me, honestly, a good CG trailer is pretty much the best way to get me hyped for something, even if in the end I know it's not going to look like that. For example, Blizzard, I think, makes the best trailers out there, just because their studio is amazing when it comes to 3D graphics. I really love the Diablo trailers. I don't even like WoW, but anytime there's a new trailer for WoW, I watch it. Same with StarCraft and such. And right now, the thing that comes to my mind the most for trailers that make me want to play a game is Death Stranding's most recent trailer. And both of them, honestly. The first one, I really liked the music, and the second one, it was just like, this is cool. It's Guillermo del Toro and Mads Mikkelsen, and I don't know what's happening, but I want to know more. Need to know more intensifies.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Very similar to. Oh, God.
I was gonna say, Miles reminded me. One CG trailer that was absolutely amazing, but was not at all representative of the final game was Dead Island's first trailer.
Oh,
that was absolutely amazing, and that game was not.
I was gonna say on a similar note, another really awesome kind of trailer is the trailer for Metal Gear Solid 5 before you knew it was Metal Gear Solid 5. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was a good one. So, go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say the Death Stranding trailer is really good. A lot of people bitched about it after E3, going like they don't even know what this game is. It's never, when is it even going to come out? And I kind of think they missed the point of it. It didn't even really, none of that actually really mattered. It was just like a very powerful moment for Sony to have Kojima on their stage with like this fancy trailer for a game starring Norman Reedus. It was all about that effect. It was the rest of it didn't really matter. That wasn't the point.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure Kojima himself knows what the game is at this point. I think he's just throwing concepts out there and seeing what how people respond to him. He's like, yeah, they like the baby in the jar. All right, that's going in.
All right. So we have Rocks gets like a little applause, and we have Sticks and Ropes, just standing ovation. Just all right, Sticks and Ropes it is. But yeah, that I don't know. I would be absolutely okay if they were like, yeah, we decided to go in a different direction. We're just gonna make a movie. I'd be like, yeah, okay, make it look like that. I'm happy.
That would be perfectly fine.
I think Kojima has concepts that he wants to explore. I think that's probably the best way of saying what I think he's working off of right now.
Probably, man. I mean, I feel like he can't make his own studio and do a bunch of this other stuff and get all of these big name actors, whether it makes sense for them to be in the game or not. without having something to be like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
I just want your face in it. So
yeah, you have to imagine all those years he worked on Metal Gear. There had to be so many ideas that he had come up with, but he just couldn't cram into a Metal Gear game. So he's just been waiting, and this is his chance to just throw some of those out there and do something with them.
Unless this just turns out to be like the most elaborate and epic like Rick roll of all time.
I mean, it could still happen. It could be like,
Yeah.
2020. Just go up, round up. 2020, he comes on stage. The Konami CEO comes out. They're both just like, gotcha! And then it's like Metal Gear Solid 6, The Return of Snake.
Or like it said, you like actually buy the Death Stranding disc, pop it into your like PlayStation 5, and then it just like boots up, never gonna give you up.
I think I would be okay with it if it was like the Never Gonna Give You Up music video, but with the characters. So like
I think
Norman Reedus and the baby and Guillermo del Toro and Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes.
I think some lawyers would be involved after that point for multiple reasons, but there would be people who
at
like
that point they earn that money. It's
Yeah, they got it. I mean, I'm sure Rick Astley would probably be like, I am completely irrelevant except for a joke that people use me for. That, in case you didn't know, he really does not like Rickrolling.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he hates it.
who would like their music being a complete joke?
Exactly, and it's really unfortunate, especially since that song actually isn't that bad. But
except it's like gonna be Never Gonna Give You Up, covered by some kind of weird emo-ish indie band using weird acoustic instruments and stuff. Not unlike whatever that song was in the Death Stranding trailer.
that song's really good. That's on my iPod. You watch yourself.
Hey, I bought that song. That song's on my like play rotation too. It's a good song.
It is. It really is. Yeah, but I mean, make it as weird as possible. Just have like Duran Gray singing it. Does anyone know who Duran Gray is?
Not a clue.
Okay, imagine like the creepiest, weirdest Japanese metal band you can.
Duran Gray. Okay,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, you would know like the moment you see one of their music videos. It's like, I know this because this is weird as sin and weirder than usual from Japan. Or like,
Wow, really?
par for the course. Yeah, they're pretty out there.
Huh.
But yeah, gentlemen, I think we've actually made a pretty good show here.
Yeah.
Technical issues aside, so we're gonna go ahead and close out for tonight. So it really doesn't feel like we've been going for an hour, but time tells. Or have we? No, it's been like 40 minutes, hasn't it? No, it's been an hour.
Concept of time.
It's been an hour because we started at like 9:40. Anyway, regardless, so our schedule is to record on Tuesday nights. We usually start between 9:30 and 10. Watch the Twitter accounts and the Facebook accounts to see exactly when we're going to start. We shoot for 9:30. Sometimes 10 has to happen for various reasons. You can email us at contact.mong@gmail.com. That's where you can send questions, thoughts from nowhere if you want us to read it out and talk about it like the last segment, which we just did. And of course, if you want to just say hi or be like, hey, you guys are cool. We appreciate that. You can also find our Mong Twitter account, by the way, which is where you should be watching for any updates of anything with the Mong universe, is at mong.com. The dot is spelled out, of course, so that's where you can subscribe, because anything we post on the website will have an update go up there. Sometimes there'll be a tweet every now and then. There'll be retweets sometimes. And, of course, you'll see when we're going live on Twitch, so that's where you should come when we're recording, so you can hang out with Lord Jesus Crust and be in the chat. And also, it's a different experience seeing it live. Maybe. I don't know. I don't cut anything out of the YouTube version, so it's the same thing. You get to see it before everyone else. Speaking of YouTube, you can find us there at Mong Network or Middle of Nowhere Gaming Plays. Mong Network is for podcasts. Middle of Nowhere Gaming Plays is for gameplay and stuff. Twitch channel is Mong Plays. You should be here when we're live. You can also find us on Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram. Look for Mong or Middle of Nowhere Gaming. Our website, of course, is middleofnowheregaming.com. That's where everything goes up. Podcasts, news, reviews, editorials. If we're doing something, it goes up there. And last but not least, it's actually not last and not least, but if you want to help us keep the lights on with the website, because that stuff ain't free, unfortunately, you can find us on Patreon. And this is the part where I say someone here is going to have to drink ketchup if there's a support level that's proper, but that person's not here. Spoilers, it's Jordan. So, yeah. Someone.
Actually, if you give $1, Chris will drink the ketchup.
If you give $5, I will drink a gallon of barbecue sauce.
I feel like barbecue sauce tastes better, but a gallon, that's kind of rough. You're making it worse for yourself.
Depends on the barbecue sauce, my friend.
Okay, I'll give you that. So yeah, give $5. Make this guy drink barbecue. We'll bring him back on.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
I have an overlay ready for if we ever have 4 people, and he'll go right down there and drink barbecue
just
sauce.
Throughout the whole podcast. It won't even be sound. I'll just be chugging barbecue sauce silently.
Yeah, we'll be able to call first responders when he eventually goes out. But yeah, there's that Patreon. And last but not least, if you're looking for us on Twitter, our personal accounts, I am Furious Milk, Adam is
Fanboy_Adam.
And Chris is
CD_Cobb.
And Jordan
also, don't forget our Discord.
Discord, yes, I should probably put that here. So yeah, our Discord, as I mentioned, is where you can go to chat with Lord Jesus Christ and the rest of the fan base and us if we're ever in there. I got stuff to do usually after podcasts, but I don't know if anyone else goes in. Regardless, there's a Discord. You should be there if you're a fan of the MONG podcast or the MONG website. So yeah, again, that I would read out the link, but it's not worth it. Just look down at the bottom of the video or the audio file, the podcast, whatever. Look for it there. And beyond that, I think we're good to go, gentlemen. So as per usual, it's time for the sign off. Say your outros.
Ropes and sticks.
I did not prepare an outro.
Okay, and I don't have an outro, so that's it.